you scared? I can see you.
Hey guys! Welcome to ZomBunny's very first video tutorial. Today Nikita's gonna be showing you how to do this awesome Be Mine Valentine look. Alright, so in order to recreate this Valentine's Day look, we're gonna start out with a blank canvas, and that means no oils, no creams, no nothing. And start making the rough shapes of the roses with some white water-based paint. Remember that all of the materials we're going to be using in this video are going to be listed in the description down below. Once you have the rough shapes of the roses, you're going to start filling in with some white paint, while still leaving some space for the shadows, which we're going to add in grey later. The reason why we leave this blank is that too many layers of water-based paint are gonna dry on top of each other and start doing some cracking, and it's gonna mess up your work later. If you're not exactly sure where to leave the space for the shadowing, it helps a lot to keep around some reference photos that you've taken and found on the internet of roses from different angles and see where they naturally cast shadows. That's where you want to leave the blank space. Now that you have the rough shapes of the roses, you want to start adding some grey and some shading with some more water-based paint. Remember to add the grey little by little, because you can always add more, but it's very, very hard to take grey away without messing up your previous work. So once you're happy with the amount of grey that you've added, it's time to start adding some white paint on top and diluting and blending the two colors together. It helps a lot if you dilute your white paint so that it's not as thick, and then that way the colors will blend much more naturally. It's going to create like a seamless gradient. And just keep adding more white and blending it in with the grey as you go, following the natural shapes of the rose, making sure you go from a grey in the center of the flower to a white at the edge of the petals. Again, keep looking at your reference photos and it will make everything a lot easier. Now that your white and grey blobs have turned into beautiful roses, it's time to outline them using some black water-based paint. This creates a much more defined, almost graphic look, very cartoon-like, and in line with the makeup that we're going to be creating later. It's much more doll-like, and it contrasts beautifully with some very pale white skin like our model has. In order for the black outline to be crisp, you have to create the right consistency. You want to add enough water so that it's inky, but not too much, or it's going to start running all over the place. And ain't nobody got time to be chasing it. And just as natural flowers have creases and crevices, adding small details and imperfections to the roses and petals helps them look a lot more realistic. Do this with a light hand and feel free to add as many or as few as you like or feel appropriate. And now for the glam part of this look. Start with foundation, ideally 1 to 2 shades lighter than your own skin tone. You want to create a pale, almost porcelain doll-like effect. And since under eye circles exist and are a thing, you're also going to want to add some concealer and blend all that in with a beauty blender to add to that flawless skin effect. Now using a bright red eyeshadow, this one's from Morphe's 35B palette, start blushing on the high points of the cheeks and towards the temples. Blend it all out using a fluffy brush, this one's from Real Techniques. Do that on both sides of the face and feel free to make the colors as faded or opaque as you're comfortable with. Using the same color, add some shading to the sides of the nose, right above the inner corners of the eyes and the lids. Blend that out and add some to the lower lash line as well. Using the deep magenta color from the same Morphe palette, start building the color around the eyes. Follow the natural shapes of the eye socket and deepen the color in the eye creases. Do this with a fluffy blending brush. And now with a very light hand, start adding some matte black eyeshadow to the crease. Remember to add the color little by little, blending thoroughly between applications. That's really gonna help you avoid a muddy look. Now for the lips. Cover them using concealer to remove any traces of your own lip color, and then add the same bright red eyeshadow you used before to the center of the lips and blend slightly outwards. Gently pat some dark red lipstick over part of the eyeshadow and blend the two together. Nikita used NYX's Liquid Lip in the shade Copenhagen. To complete the eyes, add some white eyeliner. Now, we didn't have that, so we went with white water-based paint, but feel free to substitute any product with whatever you may have laying around. In order to match the eyebrows with the wig, Nikita used the same white paint to give our model some very fashionable white brows. To add a little whimsical effect to the look, add some teeny tiny heart-shaped freckles to the cheeks. And to complete the look, add some shading to the tip of the nose. Now, here, remember to shade very lightly, or you might end up with Rudolph the Valentine's reindeer on your face. And bam! Beauty look finished! Now just add the wig, some white paper flowers, and you're done! If you feel like this is a little too innocent, fear not. Just start adding the blood of your enemies. This is a very abstract process and you can add as much or as little blood as you want. Nikita added it to the neck, the roses, and created drips from them going down our model's chest. For a little extra drama, add blood to the flowers in your hair, or just go crazy and smear it all around. And that's the look!
see you from behind. You can
Thanks so much for watching. We hope this inspired you to create your own look, and see you next time.